Hi there, Davey Cretin here for Cretin Classics. And I don't like doing these, but I feel this is an important one, and I should give a short tribute to Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone, who just passed away. Now, I wasn't going to do this. For years, I've been posting celebrity deaths, whether they're actors or musicians or just people in the public eye. I post their deaths on my Facebook page, and sometimes I write a bunch of paragraphs on them. But because I was taping a show yesterday, I guess earlier today for me, I didn't get to write a long tribute to him, so I figured I would do it on my YouTube page instead. And I want to thank my friend Grant Arthur. You might know him from Grant's Rock Warehouse. He's also on The Contrarians all the time and on Sea of Tranquility. He's the one that really convinced me to do this after we taped the show earlier for his channel. Actually, we didn't tape it. It was a live show. But at any rate, I'm digressing. Now Grant, and Pete Pardo did a Sly and the Family Stone album ranking last year on Sea of Tranquility. It was a really good show, so you guys should look for that. You learn a lot about the band and the music, the high points and low points. But I just want to talk really about Sly's life. He was born March 13th, 1943 in Denton, Texas. As a young boy, his family moved to California, so he grew up in California. He was born Sylvester Stewart. That's his birth name. For the music industry, changed his name to the cooler sounding Sly Stone. Now, he was active in a lot of genres, you could say. Funk, soul, rock, psychedelic music. Multi-instrumentalist. At a young age, he learned he had a natural aptitude to play instruments. Played keyboards, guitar, bass, harmonica. He was a singer, obviously, a songwriter, a record producer. He led the band for years. When he was growing up, he was into gospel music in the church. That's how he started and really got into music with his family. And then eventually he'd play music with some of his family members and Sly and the Family Stone. He was active in the music biz from 1956 to 2023. I mean, a lot of times he wasn't around. He had his demons. All of us do to a certain extent. But that's nearly a 70-year career. Wow. Nothing to sneeze at, definitely. Now, in his early 20s, before he formed Sly and the Family Stone in 1966, he was a DJ on a radio station in California. He was a record producer. So he broke in early. He got a lot of experience early. And he was just a natural, a musical genius, some might say. And I'll get back to that in a little while. The most notable alumni, I would say, from Sly and the Family Stone is phenomenal funk bass player Larry Graham. Guy's a monster player. He's probably the biggest name to come out of Sly and the Family Stone and forge a career on his own, besides Sly himself, of course. Now, the band formed in 1966. By 1967, they had released their debut album. They made 10 studio records from 1967 to 1982. I would say the most fruitful period of the band was from 1968 to 1973. During that time, they had 10 top 40 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, 1 #1 LP, 2 platinum albums, 2 gold albums, and their 1970 Greatest Hits album is certified 5 times platinum. And I'm sure it sold way more copies than that, because all my years in the record store, that was a constant seller. Different record stores, I should say. That was a constant seller, consistent seller. Some of their big hits, I'll just mention some really big ones. Dance to the Music hit number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. Everyday People was number 1. Hot Fun in the Summertime, number 2. Family Affair, again, number 1. And Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again, number 1 song. Like I mentioned, he had drug and alcohol issues. It's the age-old story. He was arrested. He was jailed, sadly, so he lost some time in the music biz. From 1967, their debut album, through, I think, 1976, they were on Epic Records, the band. Then Sly made some solo albums, took some time off because of his issues. the space between records got longer and longer. And then in 1979, he signed with Warner Brothers. They put out a few records, and then the band dissolved in the early 80s. During the ensuing decades, he sporadically released songs, played with some other artists like Earth, Wind and Fire, one of my favorites, the Bar-Kays, Bobby Womack. He and the band were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993, and he was actually at the ceremony. His music has always been out there because you hear these songs in commercials, in movies, on TV and TV shows. These songs have been covered countless times, sampled by hip-hop artists. So the music of Sly and the Family Stone has been out there since the mid to late 60s. But Sly's like physical presence. He wasn't out there in the world because that's not the kind of guy he was. He wanted to create music. He was pulled in a lot of different directions. He fought with his bandmates. He got a little political, and certain people didn't like that. So, that's the way things go. He wanted just to be a musician, but certain people wanted him to be more of a mouthpiece, a spokesperson. He didn't really want that. So there was a lot of friction between him and his brother, Larry Graham, in the band. So these things happen in bands. You all know bands fall apart due to money, drugs, alcohol, just people whispering in your ear, you're the star, you should go out and be a solo artist, just many factors that cause bands to dissolve. 2024, he wrote a memoir. And then earlier this year, Questlove, whom many of you know from the band The Roots, and of course he's on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon all the time. Questlove, who's a huge music fan, every genre, guy knows his stuff. He put out a documentary called Sly Lives, ! AKA The Burden of Black Genius. And I really want to see that. And I saw that my friend Kelly, when I announced this on Facebook today, she said she had just seen the documentary. So I have to find what streaming service this is on. I have to see it because these guys made some great music, and working with all different people who love different genres, whether it was R&B, funk, rock, jazz, hip-hop, reggae. I heard a lot of music working in the record stores over the years, and I heard these Sly albums. Probably the one I heard the most was The Greatest Hits, and it's really good music. It's great stuff. If you're a novice, I would say to Sly's music, start with The Greatest Hits, and you can go from there and check out the show on Sea of Tranquility, the album ranking, because that'll tell you the peak of the band and the albums to go to. Like I said, 68 to 73 is the real period. And the 1971 album, There's a Riot Going On, that was their sole #1 album, if memory serves. Now, unfortunately, yesterday, because now I'm taping this on the 10th, on June 9th of 2025, Sly died from complications of COPD. He lived to 82 years old. His music is well known. He was a progenitor in the funk field. So if you're not familiar with his music, I'm sure you know some of these songs just by social media, just by television, movies. It's definitely worth seeking out. So rest in peace, Sly. Thanks for the music. And you left a remarkable legacy behind you of a lot of great songs that are beloved by millions of people the world over, and probably especially more in the States than anywhere else. But so that is my little tribute to Sly Stone. He was a musical genius, and I am going to watch the Questlove documentary called Sly Lives. So thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and dance to the music. Thanks. Bye-bye.